Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Let's Play Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. I have time for one more of these this evening. And I would like to delve into the vaults a little bit, I think is what needs to happen. Oh, I did want to pick up some of these scrolls of Identify. Let's only carry 3 with us, but yeah. Okay. We return to Grumbletooth, the angriest dwarf. So we lost a little bit of piety with Machleb because we were dorking around and not, killing things. He gets bored after a while. But we will soon fix that. Because, where are the vaults? They are on dungeon level 13. Alright. Let's go to dungeon 12 and proceed from there. Partly because it's usually smart to stop a little bit before the actual entrance to a place, and also because I have my 3 and 4 keys bound to something else, so can't actually type in 13. So one thing I want to do is switch over to this Ring of Slaying, away from this Ring of Protection. We're at 22 armor class, as is. We've got a good set of stuff here. Some good defensive stats. Plus our natural damage shaving is very nice. So we are going to insert either the Barnacled Rune of Zot or the Gossamer Rune of Zot into the vaults. Which one does it pick? The Barnacled Rune! With a loud hiss, the gate opens wide. A Freezing Wraith. Right away there's something annoying. Whoop. Put this on for the purposes of this battle. Preservation will keep our potions from getting shattered. The vaults are going to be kind of dangerous for us. We don't have any fire resistance or any cold resistance outside of these rings. So I will actually switch away from this Ring of Slaying to whichever relevant ring is there. Oh, this is interesting. That looks like a shop, probably. Our passive mapping is at its apex. It does not get any better than this, but this is pretty good. I mean, we have a reasonable idea of where some things are in this level just from, the 3 steps we've taken or what have you. So that's kind of nice. Nothing in that room, it seems. At all. I like the vaults a lot. I think the vaults are one of the best designed parts of this game. They're a lot of fun every time. They're very, very challenging. They make you use a lot of different skills, I think. Just a regular elf, huh? Oh, a shapeshifter, that's why. We don't want to play mutation roulette at the moment. I am a fan once you have a handful of malmutations, especially if you don't have any beneficial mutations. Just chug a handful of potions of mutation before you start curing them off, because there's a chance it'll get rid of your malmutations and give you good ones instead. The more mutations you have, ooh, boggarts. Boggarts are really scary. Let's get an ally for these. They're pretty frail on their own, but they summon very powerful monsters. They are extremely proficient summoners. And then they just sit there and laugh in their little boggart way while you get slaughtered by a bunch of ogres or whatever. Ogres are too weak to be summoned by boggarts. Dragons. Think dragons. I don't think we've seen a single dragon this run. Notice me. You can generally just wait a few turns within line of sight of something and it'll notice you, unless you're incredibly stealthy, which we are not. We are fairly stealthy. But we're not going to be sneaking up on anybody too soon here. The first 4 levels of the vaults are roughly comparable to Elf 1 and 2. Kind of. Sort of. They're harder than Elf 1 and 2. They're harder than Elf 1 and 2, but they're not as dangerous as, like, the branch endings. Shoals 5, Spider 5, etc. Layer 8. Maybe... they're harder than Layer 8. Layer 8 is easier than the other branch endings. Another bookshop. Blech. Well, this Tome of Destruction is an option. Tomes of Destruction are incredibly random. They're an evocable item, which confused me a great deal the first time I found one. I was convinced that it was a spell book, and I was just really miffed that I couldn't read it. Yeah. So, a Tome of Destruction will cast a random spell 67% of the time. And the spells range from Magic Dart to Lehudib's Crystal Spear. Yeah. It's based on your evocations. There's a 3% chance... Let's see, what are the bad things? There's about a, let's see, 9, 16, 19, 19% chance that something bad happens. And then an additional 14% chance that a harmless cloud of smoke is created on us. 7% chance that it's just destroyed outright, and when you're engulfed in a fire. Yeah, Tome of Destruction seems pretty bad. Yeah, apparently Zom really likes it if you use the Book of Destruction. And that's about its only use. Unless you really have no other ranged attacks. If you're this far in the game without any ranged attacks, good on you. You have done well. Another bookshop. Jeez. The one time that we are completely useless at casting spells, we find every single book in the game. I'm really not too upset. This has been a reasonable run, regardless. Shields at 17. We're getting there. 25 is really high. But I think Shields trains pretty rapidly. I mean, we have a +1 aptitude for it, which is nice anyway. And I feel like... I know that fighting and spellcasting train more slowly than other skills, even at a zero, flat 0 aptitude. There's an ice dragon. Let's... I'm trying to think. Well, let's not experiment with that in the middle of battle. Let's just put on our Ring of Cold. Okay, I am curious. Whoa, 3 points of evasion and a point of shields. Yeah, this is still a very good ring for us. Ice Dragon Hide. Good. Glad to see that. We're going to leave it there. We're not going to cart it around with us. But if we so choose, we can make Ice Dragon Armor. Gives you 2 ranks of cold resistance and 1 negative rank of fire resistance. So, not the best for us right now. And certainly not. Another bookshop! Goodness gracious. All the books. Well, if we find a bunch of cool stuff and end up going into the extended endgame, who knows? Maybe we will cast spells someday. I want to be a spellcaster someday. Not too worried about Yaktars. Ooh, that looks like a demon blade. It is a demon blade. What's the base damage on that? Oh, it's only 13. I thought it was higher than that for some reason. A terrible weapon forged in the fires of hell, and it does 3 more damage than our long blade. Well, maybe it's super enchanted. Nope. Peace. Let's wait out this poison. Not that it was doing us any harm, but, no reason to be running around while we're poisoned. No reason to start a fight poisoned. If we can avoid it. It's just prudence. And a fire dragon. that also left a hide. Fire dragons do the opposite. 2 pips of resist fire, 1 negative pip of resist cold. Ogre magi are pretty rough, but wow, we are way stronger than ogres. Good to know. We could still be damaged by like 2-headed ogres and whatnot. You know, our armor class is still only 22, and some of the heftier monsters will be hitting us for, you know, 50 plus max damage. Easily. Like, I know for sure that a rock thrown by a Cyclops has a max damage of 50. And that's just one instance of things. So, you know, the fact that we can only reduce that damage by 22 from our armor, and then a maximum of, like, 7 or 8 right now, I think, from our damage shaving. That's still 21 damage that's getting through to us. It's a lot. I mean, we have a lot of hit points, which is nice, but... Ooh, we blocked the sticky flame. How cool. Ooh, Convokers are rough. They summon other enemies from... Oh, man, this is so many enemies. Let's sort of casually saunter backwards here. Seems like a choke point will allow us to fight this fight without too much difficulty. Though all of these things are mited up by the Convoker. Didn't mean to step forward there. That was a blunder on my part. Yeah, this isn't too bad. Oh, let's kill the guy with the polearm. Back up a few steps. And just have a little shootout with this Yaktar, I guess. Whatever, we'll kill it. Annihilator, Deep Elf Annihilator, went down pretty easily, actually. We could probably take on Elf 3 with that being what happens when we fight an Annihilator. Wow, we're just chewing through these guys. It's actually kind of cool that we had those Convokers there, because they've summoned all the enemies from the entire rest of the level to this one spot, conveniently, so that we can kill them all. Though that Vault Warden did beat us up a little bit, I was being too cavalier with my actions. It was foolish of me, but... Let's see, do these look special in any way? No. I think there are different tile graphics for special shields and whatnot. Man, it's a lot of stuff. I guess we could have eaten one of them. Ah, well. Opportunities lost. Yeah, we're back in Makleb's good graces after we slaughter an entire vault's worth of enemies in one go. I feel like the rest of this particular level is going to be rather barren, although a couple of guys there. These preservers will split damage with their fellows. They will take on the burdens of their glowing great mace. I searched for ages for those with a previous character that was a maces and flails wielder. I think I found one enchanted great mace in the entire game, and it was enchanted with pain, which was completely useless to me because I had no points in the necromancy skill. I was very, very disappointed. I don't remember what happened to that character. Ah, distillery, interesting. And several closed shops. We can ID 2 more potions here. Which is fine. I mean, we have plenty of gold. It's not like we're, you know, wasting resources or anything. We don't have that much else to spend it on anyway. And basically, you know, anything that costs more than 2,000 gold, well, we can get more gold. We can always get more gold. Another thing they're removing in 0.15 is the Hall of Blades, which I'm fine with. It's really kind of a boring little level. You find the entrance in the vaults, usually around vaults 3 or 4. And it's one level, and it's filled with a bunch of enchanted, like, animated weapons. It's just kind of boring, and usually isn't all that exciting. It's not very hard. It's just sort of a pain to clear out. And I mean, the only reason to do it is if you've been drained by something on Volts 5 and you can't proceed into the depths or anything. Like you have nowhere else to go, but you need some experience to get rid of draining. That's basically the only time I appreciate the Hollow Blade. Sometimes you'll find a good weapon in there. Usually not. Usually it's just, maximum enhancement of +2 boring brands. Rarely are there artifacts in the Hollow Blades. And if there were, it'd be tough to fight them anyway. So I don't mind them getting rid of that. Oh, very large. Okay, still fine. If even one more of those slimes had joined in, we would have been in a rough spot. Very large is as large as you ever want to fight. The interesting thing to note about Convokers is that the monsters that they summon are not... Let's get next to that Cyclops and just chop him down. They are not summoned creatures. They do grant you experience, and they are... they do leave behind loot, corpses, etc. Yeah, that Battle Axe of Flaming was what damaged us there. Though Mochleb helping us out, healing us up. I really highly recommend Mochleb to anybody who wants to play a Deep Dwarf. At least a Deep Dwarf fighter type. A non-spellcasting Deep Dwarf. Interesting. Well, that's what Wands of Digging are for. What is this book? A book of transfigurations. This is kind of a... This is not my favorite book. But it's, fine for people that like that sort of thing. Do 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 do. Alright, next level of the vaults. Looks like another shop there. Oh, let's turn off our auto pickup on potions of flight. Seems like a waste of inventory space. We've got our cool Cloak of the Flash, or Cloak of Flash. I've found this. This is an unrand art. It's a non-random artifact. It's the same every time you find it. I have found this cloak a number of times, and this is the first time that it's ever been better than a Cloak of Preservation on that particular character. I think it's very good on this character. It gives us evasion, it gives us armor class. Oh, Flayed Ghost. See, isn't this just so intimidating looking? It's damaged us so much, and then we kill it. Blop! All of it back. I really like that change. They used to be super boring, now they're terrifying and fun. Assorted antiques, but nothing fun. Nothing good. These would probably all be unidentified, except that we have identified all of them ourselves. I don't know if antique stores make identified objects more expensive. They might. Kind of seemed like it in that case. Ugh. Trying to get to this Convoker, but... Yeah, this is smarter. Get rid of the Convoker. Otherwise, you can just keep summoning guys to beat us up, and that's not very fun. Alrighty. Shiny Scale Mail is probably not worth our time. I'll look at Plate Armor, I'll look at Dragon Armor if it's potentially enchanted with something interesting, if it possibly has a very good ego. On weapons, they're called brands. On armor, they're called egos. Why? I don't know. You'd have to ask the developers. They know. They know everything. Vampire mosquitoes, gross. Griffin, sure. There's a cool little vault within a vault. Ooh, yeah, I figured that the stone giant was a bigger threat there than the freezing wraith. Fairly certain. The stone giant is definitely more of a threat than the freezing wraith if we are not in melee range. The thrown large rocks are super duper painful. Hey, we snuck up on something. That's cool. Of course, then the sounds of our combat alerted a whole bunch of elves to our presence, but whatever, we hate elves. We're a dwarf. Elves are bad. There's no way that I would trade out that longsword for what we're using, so I'm not going to bother. The reason why I'm not IDing these things is because it either takes a scroll of identification, or we risk it being cursed and burning a scroll of remove curse. Not that scrolls of remove curse are particularly rare, but no use in wasting resources when we know for 100% certain that it's not going to be as good as what we have. Like, if it were a maximally enchanted longsword, we might switch to it. Maybe. Because I think 4 points of dexterity probably is giving us nearly as much as 3 damage. Nicola. We do have resist electric, though, so we can fight him. Ugh. Die, Nicola. I suppose I could show you the description. He's super mean. Nikolai Tesla. Skilled electricians will settle the battles of the near future. Yeah. Prophetic words indeed in 1905. Blat. Yeah, if you find Nicola before you have a source of electricity resistance, he's pretty fatal. Did we lose any of our scrolls? Yeah, lame. So glad that they're getting rid of that. Very, very glad. Yeah, Nicola always wields a cutlass of electrocution, so he can zap you a whole bunch of times. Ooh, a Nido cloak. Oh, a +0 cloak of darkness. Boring. Sacrifice him to Machleb. I like sacrificing uniques. Or eating them. That's also fun. Oh, we do have a helmet. See invisible. We don't have another source of that, I don't think. That lets us go invisible. Which is something I haven't been using, I guess because it's still at 22%. I just really don't want to turn anything off. And at this point, everything can see invisible anyway. A ravenous mimic. Blat. Killed it. Killed it dead. Check out the stairway. Oh, okay, I was hoping I could sort of sneak up on this guy. But no. Ba-ba-ba. Ogres. Not impressive. That don't impress me much. Wow, we have 7 scrolls to identify. When did we get all those? It's kind of cool. Carrare needles are Very strong. They slow and poison and exhaust anything affected by the nerve agent. Ooh. A couple of potentially great stores. Let's make sure this room isn't stuffed with monsters. Anything good here? Scroll, a couple scrolls of summoning. I suppose those are fine. Not too exciting. Antique armor shop. Ooh, a artifact scale mail. That could be good for us. And a pair of glowing boots. That could be good for us, too. Let's try them out. For the low, low price of 310 gold. Let's seal ourselves in here and... Ooh. 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 Dexterity +1, damage +3. So AC 30, evasion 27. We gain 8 points of armor class and lose only 4 points of evasion? That seems good. What do we get from this? Negative energy and resist electricity. We do have a natural pip of resist negative energy. I imagine we are also fairly unstealthy, extremely unstealthy, yeah. But that's just a big boost in defensive stats. And the damage bonus is really good. Let's try him out. Boots of Jumping can be activated to allow its wearer to perform a jumping attack. Huh. What does it do? Leap at a nearby enemy and perform a melee attack, landing somewhere adjacent to the target. We can't jump over flying enemies, and can only leap giant enemies submerged in lava or deep water. Okay. We can't do it standing and stuff. Can't be used while exhausted. Uses 2 mana points. Yes? Huh. Okay, we can't do it if there isn't a monster around. Still, kind of cool. Could come in very handy as an escape mechanism. These are probably worth enchanting up. Definitely worth sacrificing a point of armor class for the time being. Seems like an excellent gap closer. I don't know how long jumping has been in this game. I certainly haven't encountered it much. I know Felids can do it naturally, but I don't know how long they've been able to do it. Wizards are tough. They can banish us to the abyss. Or have a chance to be able to banish us to the abyss. Yeah, banishment is in... I guess only one of their spellbooks, but they are quite powerful. Lahudib's Crystal Spear is not anything we want to be hit with either. Interesting. Good old Charlie. Charlie Darwy. I don't know if he was called that. Probably not. Couldn't really decide which order to kill those things in, but in which order to kill those things. Please give me a corpse. Let me eat you, elves. Yeah, elves, not particularly. Oh, curiosity killed the cat. Curiosity killed the crawler. What do we have? Is this a Vault Warden? Yeah, okay. Probably easier to kill this Vault Guard first and then chop away at this guy with super heavy armor. Just a regular... Oh, a Vampiric War Axe. Huh. Vampiric weapons are excellent for Deep Dwarfs, because they do regenerate you, unlike things that just enhance natural regeneration. Vampiric weapons provide a true external source of regeneration. However, one must take care not to attack like demons with vampiric weapons. You will suffer massive damage instead of gaining life back. You will be disappointed with the results. So they can't get you through the entire game, but they're still nice in many situations. I keep hoping that one of these is going to be so cool, and instead, yeah, exactly what we thought would happen. We come across a cursed one and have to waste a scroll. I don't know why I was doing that. Maybe if it had been like a bastard sword, that would have been worth it. Just because of the such a high base damage increase. Summoners are so obnoxious. Maybe it's just my bias against summoning in general, but that one in particular was a real pain. Let's worship some things. Whatever. Stone giant pelting us with rocks. What spells did we find this time? Book of Burglary. Ooh. Swiftness is a pretty decent spell to have. Passwall is pretty good. Might as well memorize them. I mean, we don't have any reason not to memorize these spells, really. Even though we can't cast them. Yeah. And then we can just drop that. We're not going to use any of those other things. Level 4 spells are certainly out of our grasp. Level 3, maybe. Another store. The vaults do typically have a number of stores in them, which is nice. Ah, these potions seem good to buy. That's about it. If you're wondering why I don't try to sell things, it's because you can't. This game discourages useless gathering of items. Wow, that's a lot of guys. Okay. A lot of not... Oh, that's why there was a preserver there. I was like, these guys are taking a long time to kill. And it's because there was someone sharing their damage. Frederick? I'm somewhat unfamiliar with Frederick. That looks like he's wielding a quick blade. A svelte fighter mage who wears a gold-rimmed monocle and seeks a suitable and worthy opponent. You likely do not fit the bill. He's got some fairly strong spells, looks like. I thoroughly disapprove of duels. I would take him kindly and forgivingly by the hand and lead him to a quiet, retired spot and kill him. Ha ha ha! Mark Twain is great. Samuel Clemens is his real name. Mark Twain is a pen name. A cool pen name. Yeah. Let's take this really slowly. Is he wielding a... Oh, wielding a glowing bastard sword. Ooh. Gimme. I want it. Haha. Take that, fiend. Shiny scale mail, not as interesting as this. Base damage 15. It's pretty hefty. It's just a +1/+3 sword, huh? I mean, that's more damage than this, but the additional 4 dexterity still makes this better. We're going to hang on to this because we could use our scroll of branding that we have to enchant it if we wanted. I'm still hoping I'll find, you know, an artifact bastard sword, but that's that's a pie in the sky right there. We should, yeah, let's butcher up Frederick and eat him. Ha ha ha. Yeah, Makaleb doesn't care about the quality of the corpses you sacrifice, just the quantity. Unlike Okawaru, who gets super picky by the late game. Like, it's almost worth switching out of Okawaru in the extended endgame. Like, you can definitely worship Okawaru all the way through Zot. Like, you hit level 27, within a couple of levels of finding Zot if you don't venture elsewhere first. Which I don't really recommend venturing elsewhere before you hit 27, because you'll just die. Painfully. Why did I? Man. Burning our stuff. I'm just an arrow of flame. How utterly obnoxious. Can't wait till they get rid of that. I may record one of these videos on 0.15 in the you can't download it, I don't believe. Maybe you can, but you can play the unstable version, as it were, in your web browser. I don't know if it's I don't know which plugin it uses. I don't know if it's Flash. I would imagine it's Flash. Well, we'll keep on going. Well, no, just for courtesy's sake, I will stop the video here. There's no reason to keep on going and make this video last another half an hour. So I will stop this here, and pick up again where we left off. I have another, I don't know, half an hour or so that I can play this evening. So, I will probably record another one here. But in the meantime, if you have other things to do, please be my guest. Go outside, enjoy the weather if it is pleasant, and hug your loved ones and all that. Regardless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.